safe and sorry. It was late August, which meant two things for the engines of Sodor: the end of summer and the beginning of autumn. This year, however, the typical wet autumn weather had been replaced with a dry spell that made life uncomfortable for people and engines. Coaches became unbearable to sit in without the windows open. The trucks were more irritable since they were left out in the dead heat, and the steam engine's crews had to bring plenty of cold water bottles to help deal with the heat of the cabs. One steamy afternoon, Sahandel was taking a load of heavy slate wagons down the line. He was moaning bitterly to his crew. "It's far too hot! It's far too hot!" he called. "Put a sock in it," replied his driver. "It's all right for you. We're the ones who have to sit in your volcano of a cab." The driver pulled his collar and exhaled. The fireman hummed in agreement as he continued shoveling. They had just rounded a bend when Sir Handel spotted something. "Stop!" he shrieked. "Fire!" Two hay bales were ablaze in a field close to the line. Sir Handel's crew quickly halted the train and ran for a telephone. The guard kept an eye on the fire, and Sir Handel The driver had rang for a fire engine and then quickly called the farmer to alert him. The farmer arrived on his tractor and was most upset. He was worried his entire field would catch on fire. Thankfully, the fire engine arrived and swiftly put the blaze out. After heaving a sigh of relief and thanking the firefighters, he quickly turned his attention to Sir Handel and his crew. "I bet my entire livestock you have something to do with this fire," he snapped, pointing an accusing finger at Sir Handel. "Me?" hissed Sir Handel. "I was the one who alerted my crew about the fire in the first place." "Bah! You probably started the blaze and didn't want to get in trouble, so you ratted on yourself to cover your own tracks." The fireman chuckled at the accidental pun. "What's so funny, mate?" growled the fuming farmer. "I'll have you know that I need those hay bales to keep my animals fed during winter. I'll be speaking with your controller about this." And he did. The next day, the Thing controller came to speak to Rusty in the sheds. "Due to recent weather conditions and yesterday's incident, I've decided it best to fit a fire extinguisher in your cab, Rusty." The little diesel was surprised. "Why me, sir?" "Well, for a start, there's no danger of you starting any fires since you're a diesel, not to mention how frequently you patrol the line with your maintenance trains." Rusty then understood and happily obliged. His driver arrived with the fire extinguisher and promptly fitted it into his cab. "Well, if it gets too hot in your cab, I could use this to cool myself down," he chuckled. Rusty laughed too, and rolled gently out of the sheds to ready his maintenance train. Sir Handel had been made to stay in the shed after the hay bale incident. Although the Thing controller did believe him and his crew didn't cause the fire, he thought it best to have him rest in the shed a while. Rusty arrived to shunt the crane behind a brake van. Sir Handel raised an eyebrow when he spotted the fire extinguisher. "What's that doing in your cab?" he asked gruffly. Rusty explained what the Thing controller had said. Sir Handel rolled his eyes dramatically. All this for a fire I didn't start. Next thing I'll know, you'll be carrying around a muzzle for my whistle. Sounds like you need it with all your grumbling, teased Peter Sam as he backed onto some coaches. Sir Handel growled as Peter Sam chortled away. Rusty couldn't help but laugh too. It's just in case of emergency, Sir Handel. Better safe than sorry. We can't have you burning down the countryside after all. Rusty hooted as he pulled away with his train. Rusty spent the day repairing bits of track that had been damaged by trains or the sun. Whenever they stopped for repairs, he kept a close eye out for any signs of a fire. He even mistook Duncan's steam further down the line for smoke from a blaze. When the day's work was over, Rusty trundled safely home with the workmen and wagons. The little diesel felt tired and hot as he made his way home. Suddenly, Rusty's engine began to cough, and he started to slow down. Seems like this heat hasn't been doing your old engine any favours, sighed his driver, gently applying his brakes to stop and inspect him. The guard went to inform the signalman they had stopped while the workman and Rusty's driver checked him over. As Rusty sat awkwardly in the middle of the line, he thought he smelled something funny. A workman turned around and gasped, "Step back, lads! Fire!" Sparks from Rusty's engine had caused a patch of dry grass to catch fire, which then caused part of a fence to catch too. "Quick, the fire extinguisher!" shouted Rusty. The driver wasted no time and grabbed the extinguisher. He squeezed the nozzle tight and a white foam showered out of it, putting out the fiery fence and grass. Later, Scarlery came to take Rusty home. The little diesel didn't think it was safe to run home under his own power. "You did a great job putting out that fire. Thank goodness you had that fire extinguisher in your cab. I shudder to think what would have happened without it," smiled Scarlery. That night, Rusty spoke to Sir Handel. "I'm sorry I teased you. It seems I'm the one who tried burning down the countryside." But Sir Handel smirked at the little diesel. "Ah well, at least you didn't have to wait for help to put out your fire. You're our own little fire engine," he chuckled. "Quite right," said the Thing Controller as he approached the engines. He seemed to be holding a carton of eggs in his hands. The farmer's further inspection of the field discovered cigarette butts next to the bale. Apparently his farmhand thought it a good place to hide for a smoke. He apologized and gave these eggs as a token of goodwill. He says your crew can cook them up for a fireman's breakfast. Sir Handel was most pleased, as was Rusty, who now carries a fire extinguisher in his cab ever since. A few days later, Rusty was passing the same spot where he had caused the fire, and spotted a very frustrated farmhand mending the fence.